Welcome to Stay Paid Real Estate Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in the real estate world, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media.
Welcome to Stay Paid. My name is Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke Akery.
And today, on this very day, we have some news, a special announcement.
I was trying to hum taps, but it kind of sounded like Here Comes the Bride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, we are making a little bit of a change here at Stay Paid Studios.
Yep, we are burying.
We should make that like a thing.
Yeah,
Stay Paid Studios.
I do like that too.
Get like a suite of shows. That's not the announcement, but that would be a pretty cool announcement.
As we end shows, we're announcing that we're doing.
We're going to make a little bit of a change up to the podcast here, but we also wanted to kind of turn this into, maybe something that could be applicable for your business. But one of the things that we've noticed,
a life update,
as we have hit some challenges in our business, is where we're spending our time. You and me specifically, in the business in general, and where we're spending our time in generating content, and the amount of time that we're spending here on the podcast versus the amount of time that some of the other areas within our organization need attention on right now. And one of the things that we had to look at and make a hard decision on is, where does the podcast go from here? Yes. Right? So there's been some feelings of, hey, maybe we're getting a little stale. Maybe we're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Are we still bringing the value that we set out to do when we created this show? And so I think one of the things that we came to through that process is maybe we need to do less shows. Right. So kind of this idea of, we had two feeds started. We began, we kind of went down this journey of, we had one main Stay Paid feed. And then we said, hey, we need to niche down. And we need to go more specifically into real estate. We need to go more specifically into insurance and financial services. And then after some time of doing that, kind of, and some looking at how that's been performing and how that's been, and wanting to be honest about, where we're at with the audience.
I still think niching down is the correct avenue.
Yep.
When it comes to, if you're depending on your goal. Our issue became that, quite frankly, we're ending Silver Dollars and we're ending doing the multiple shows.
Going back to one feed.
One feed.
So if you're listening to the real estate feed right now, this will become the main feed. If you're listening to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial, you'll want to make sure to jump over.
How much time should you spend on content a week?
Yeah.
Like, how much time in your business should you spend on content a week? And that's you have to make that decision.
Depends on the goals of your business.
Exactly.
And what
For Josh and I mean, we're spending 4 hours at least
minimum.
That
doesn't count prep. That doesn't count the extra stuff that you're recording.
Exactly. So it just became where we're looking at it and going, hey, we love our shows and we love the content we're putting out. And I do think it's valuable in what we're putting out to the world. But I'm not here to try to be the number one podcast. That's not what I love to do. What I love to do is grow our business, Reminder Media.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the time and place, right, we have, in Reminder Media has grown so much. We have like 340 employees now. We have a digital marketing division. We have a postcards direct mail division. We have a magazines referral division.
Like 4 companies in one.
Yeah. And so we have all these different things happening. And to me, I go, where's my time better spent? Is it spent in mentoring the leadership and helping in the sales for launching this digital marketing avenue that we're going, all this stuff. And it just came down to the reality of, my time is spent better there. And unfortunately, I wish life worked where everything could remain, but it takes sacrifice. If one thing wants to grow, you have to sacrifice something else. And so for me, the natural sacrifice was, what do we see the value in Stay Paid? We see immense value in bringing the content to our listeners and to our audience and our clientele of how to get better. We can do that with one episode a week.
Yep.
We see immense value in a podcast and building relationships. Some of our best relationships, like I'm about to speak on stage as a keynote in Vegas from a relationship we developed through the podcast, right? And we've earned clients through the podcast, but the relationships have been really the home run for us. So we still get to do that through doing one show a week. Also, content marketing, posting on our social. We realized that we were producing all this content, but we didn't even have time to really promote it like we should be promoting. And so going down to one episode a week will allow us to spend more time clipping up the content and actually utilizing it to promote it and focusing, quite frankly, on producing better content. Because if you have one episode, your cup is more full to share on that one episode than when you're doing 3-4 episodes a week. You almost run out of stuff to share because you've been sharing it all week.
Yep.
So all those things with the real practicality of going, hey, look, I'm trying to build a, really big business at Reminder Media, and I love the content, but I love building the business more, and that's where I need to focus.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on, how's this kind of applicable in your own business. Like you're looking to focus on, growing the sales team and working with the sales. I need to get more on the product side. So that means actually being available to be on conversations and help to manage and guide our development teams in the products that they're building for our clients. So if you're listening to this and you're a client of ours, like this is ultimately all done to hopefully bring more value to everyone who is a client of Reminder Media, because we're looking to focus more on making the business and ultimately the products better, which then you'll be able to use in your business, because that's what we exist for. Like we exist to help our clients close more deals and retain more business. Our ideal of the future is having a client base that doesn't have to worry about their marketing. They can spend more time doing what they love in their business, or spending more time with friends and family, or living that life of freedom that they got into the business to begin with. And we weren't able to do that as much as we wanted to with the number of podcasts and the amount of content that we were producing. So I just kind of want to be clear in terms of the podcast is still here. We're keeping the podcast
out every Monday.
We're going to update the format a little bit, so the format will change. Hopefully, our goal is really to get it more timely, because we tend to record these things sometimes a month in advance. Now we've gotten a little backed up, so we're kind of turning them around fast. Thank you, Ethan, for all of your hard work in turning these around so quickly. But there have been times where we've recorded podcasts, 2 months sometimes in advance. So we're trying to get them to be a little bit more timely, and then change up the format, maybe bring some more familiar faces that are going to start appearing on the podcast more regularly, and just create more of kind of a conversational, type podcast.
Yeah. My goal is to be able to go deeper, and style wise, I enjoy listening to the podcasts more that are more like a conversation than a host talking at you.
Yeah.
So we've been very educational.
Yes.
And I would rather go conversational.
Yeah.
So my goal is to switch the format to be more conversational, which, how can you be conversational? We can share with you what's going on in our business. We can share with you what's happening from a headline perspective and our takes on that. We also are able to bring in guests that allow us to pick their brain. So all that I think is going to be good. For me, I just look at it and go, I just think content always is evolving. And this idea of putting out consistent content and volume of content, I don't think is paying the dividends that people think it's paying. And I think there's a natural conversational or confirmation bias that is happening, that all the people who are training you to post content get paid from you buying their course on how to post content, or get paid by you buying their content to post. So there's a natural confirmation bias happening. Yeah. And what do I mean by that? We are seeing from our own content, we're getting more results from just spending the time commenting on other people's posts than we are from putting out our own post as frequently as we were.
Yeah.
Is that going to play true or not for the long term? I don't know, but it's just really interesting to me that I go, wow, instead of maybe posting 7 reels a week, right, or 5 reels a week, instead of doing that one reel, spend that 30 minutes that you were going to do and just go call somebody. Go DM a bunch of people on your social and spend the time doing that. All this to say is going, hey, look, I think content's good, but everybody and their mother right now is putting out content and volumes of content.
Yeah.
So how do you cut through the noise? You cut through the noise by, 1, quality, but 2, it's just more relationship based. And so that's what we're going to try.
I think that's always been at the heart of our business. What we've always said, if you have one thing to focus on in your business, focus on the relationships. Your content, and ours as well, is going to continue to be a representation of our brand. So, when someone looks you up, you need to have a presence. You need to have that brand. You need to have kind of what you stand for out there. And we've talked to so many people that has amplified their business. We've had lots of clients come through the podcast. If you're listening or watching this YouTube video, you became a client of Reminder Media because of the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you post that up. But I think the other important thing that you touched on before we jumped on was like, hey, my passion even for getting on and doing this much content has started to dwindle a little bit.
Well, I'm getting bored on our interviews and stuff. I get bored fast, though. I probably have ADHD. But I'm truly getting bored. It's not a knock on anybody, though it sounds like it. I'm getting bored because I'm not learning anything new. Yeah. Everybody's saying the same thing. Yeah. And so I go, if everybody's saying the same thing, then that's a sign of a bad interviewer, meaning like I'm interviewing people poorly because everybody's saying the same thing. So I need to ask better questions. Well, that led me to going, well, what are the things I really want to know about? Well, I want to get people's thoughts on what is currently happening today.
Right.
The only way to do that is to change our schedule so we can have timely content. So we can't record what's happening today and release it 2 months later.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to get more immediate and more timely. And so that's really what's causing the shift too, is I would rather do, because I'm a little bit bored in interviewing people, asking them the same thing, hearing the same thing over and over again for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I want to now go, hey, I want to get people's opinions and takes on the current environment. And I think that will be more interesting to everybody.
Yeah. Well, anything else to say before the final silver dollar? We didn't even put together an outline for this one.
I mean, this is what I would tell you. The reason why I believe we have won to a certain degree in business, we're by no means the top. I think we're in the top 10% of businesses in the world in terms of size and employee count and stuff like that. I want to be in the top 1%. But the reason why Josh and I have had the success we've had is because we keep changing. And at the end of the day, I share that as a positive of like, we're not afraid to try something and stay consistent in it and then try something new. Like we just switched over. If you are a big fan, we just switched to doing the niches. Like what, 6 months ago, 4 months ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. And we're already changing again. Why? Because we know we have a goal in mind. We know what that goal is, and we're going to work and keep doing for that goal. And we're not going to get lost in the noise of, I have to have the number one podcast that's going to be number one on the charts. Do I hope it gets number one? Yeah, that'd be amazing. But if that doesn't happen, that doesn't bother me because that's not my actual big goal. And so I know what my big goal is. And so that allows me to make decisions to go, hey, I'm going to end silver dollars. I'm going to go back to just doing one episode a week. And that I think is what you should, right now, if you're questioning yourself, don't question yourself, just do it.
Yeah.
Because the ones who win are the ones who do it. The ones who take action.
I do appreciate the fact that we did it. Because otherwise you'd still be sitting there wondering, well, what if we did this?
Yeah, I wonder if we did the niche. Yeah.
Do it, try it, and then pivot. What is it? Act, track, pivot.
Yep, act, track, pivot.
Act, track, pivot. There you go. Thank you so much for listening. We truly have enjoyed. The silver dollars have always been kind of one of my favorite, bits of content that
We're
do.
still going to include the dad jokes in our normal episodes now.
Oh, are we? Because I had a final dad joke.
Oh, okay. Well, you can give your final one, but we're still going to include them.
Nah, it's too bad to be the final. We can't go out on that note.
Okay.
But anyway, I do appreciate everybody listening. You can go to staypaidpodcast.com for the show notes and the video of this episode. Make sure to follow us on YouTube as well. We are youtube.com/remindermedia. And if you want to support the show, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review. We will continue to read your reviews here on the show. The best way to show your support is to simply share this episode with someone that you know. I don't know if you guys heard, but I got a horse. I got a horse, named him Mayo. Yes, I got a horse, named him Mayo, and Mayo neighed. Mayo. The horse neighed.
I do not think that deserves an applause, but it's the final
For
silver
the final
dollar.
silver dollar one.
So-
But you definitely got to
I
bring them into the new
intentionally
version of the show.
scoured 256 dad jokes online last night to find the worst possible one
And you found it.
that was not even remotely funny.
Yeah.
And I went with that one. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you continue to follow our journey on Instagram. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. For the final silver dollar, your action item is this. Take action on the thing in your business that you know you need to move upon that you're not moving upon. So Josh and I, as we saw it getting stagnant, as we saw ourselves getting bored, as we saw the quality maybe not there or the audience that we wanted not there, we didn't stay stagnant. We chose to take action. So that's my challenge to you is just remember the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business, every industry is top producers take action. Take action on that today.